Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today I'm going into my Game Week 3 squad, giving it a review and looking at my Game Week 4 team selection, my current thoughts for transfers, and yeah, just looking over how this game week's gone. And it has been an absolutely chaotic one this week. Lots of surprises in terms of results. Lots of players doing really poorly, lots of players doing well, ones that you wouldn't really expect. It's been a completely wild game week. So let's have a look at how my team did. So here is my Game Week 3 team. And to be honest, it's an alright week, especially considering how ridiculous this week was. I think a score of 52 with a -4 hit is 48 in total. I think that's an alright score. It is exactly on the average and it is my lowest score so far, but a lot of players blanked, and it was especially a bad week for those of you who went big at the back. It was bound to happen eventually when all the big teams concede a goal. So yeah, an absolutely chaotic week. Let's get into the players. Raya in goal, 3 points. Pretty decent considering he's conceded 3 goals, making so many saves. I'm all right with him still in the team. Great value. I have looked at the likes of Nick Pope, who had an exceptionally good performance against Man City. I think with Newcastle's more favourable fixtures, he is someone to really look at. Alexander-Arnold with 0 points. A horrendous start of the season to him. Genuinely, I'm so close to getting rid of him. He's very lucky that he's got Bournemouth at home next week, because I definitely would be considering getting rid of him just because he is really not worth the money at the moment. That Liverpool backline look horrendous, and even though he's getting upfield and he's making a lot of crosses, no one's finishing them. But I think the points will come for Alexander-Arnold. I think I will stick with him. I'll have to review it after the Bournemouth game at home. We'll see if Liverpool can turn it around. Cancelo was 0 points, disappointed there. Newcastle are looking like a very, very good team, managing to put 3 past that Man City backline who hadn't conceded a goal all season, and then him picking up a yellow card. Exactly what Cancelo does, getting a 11-pointer last week and then getting a 0-pointer this week. Classic FPL. Walker as well, not looking good with the double Man City defence of 1 point. Then again, this was a pretty poor week for defenders as it was. I am considering moving on Walker as I'm liking the look of the Man City attack. I think there's a few more nailed options in attack now as well. And I just think Walker doesn't quite provide the amount of points that I'm looking for. So I'm considering moving on Walker. Zinchenko with a 6-pointer, pretty decent. He could have potentially got an assist or 2 in the game, but I'm happy with the 6-pointer. Definitely happy with the clean sheet. I think only 3 teams kept a clean sheet this week. So yeah, still happy to have him in the team. Saliba, obviously, with that fantastic goal, 14-pointer, especially after I think he got minus points the previous week for an own goal. So yeah, very, very good on you if you kept or went with him. Salah getting 16 points. Luckily, the highest scorer in my team, joint with Tony, definitely managed to pull that out of nowhere. I was absolutely adamant that Liverpool weren't getting a goal in that Man United game in the second half, but now he manages to just get on the end of I think it was a De Gea save and just nods it in. Salah doing what he does best, even with absolutely no service. He can still get a goal in these games, and he's definitely looking good for Bournemouth at home, even though the Liverpool team really are not. Luis Diaz, who I brought in for a hit last week, really wasn't a good idea. I just thought that Liverpool would shake themselves up for this Manchester game, but clearly not. Manchester United certainly did. I'm certainly interested by a couple of their players because they definitely seem to be back to, well, not their best, but certainly back on form. The likes of Sancho and Rashford definitely looking like potentially good options, especially for their price. Luis Diaz had a few good chances during the game. Certainly was one of the most creative players for Liverpool. But I've mainly got him for that next week fixture. So I think I will be giving him another chance in the next week. I can't sell in these Liverpool players before Bournemouth at home. And I think if they're going to bounce back, it has to be next week. So yeah, definitely holding him on at least for one more week. Martinelli getting 6 points, pretty decent. getting an assist. I mean, it's not that good. But in a week where so many blanks happened, so little returns, I will happily take a 6-pointer from Martinelli, given his cheap price. Certainly, just he's been excellent value since the start of the season. But yeah, happy to have him still in the team. Happy to still have the triple up on the three big teams. Maybe less so on Liverpool, but again with that Bournemouth fixture, I think it's all right for now. Tony getting 8 points. Could have had a lot more. Definitely looking good in that Brentford side. Brentford do look very good, but I mean Fulham just pit them to the post. I think Fulham home games look very strong. Mitrovic especially. They just really have the crowd behind them. I think in Craven Cottage they are really passionate about staying up. But Tony getting 8 points, pretty happy with that. A goal and 2 bonus. Could have had a bit more, but again, he's the top scorer in my team, so I'll take it. Haaland getting 6 points with just the almost... Well, it wasn't a consolation goal. It was the second one to get them back in the game. But yeah, just the 1 goal for Haaland. Maybe potentially getting rid of him. He's quite expensive, and Pep Guardiola's come out with some comments saying that he definitely will not be playing the next 3 games. We have a deadline this weekend, and then we have a midweek game. I think the deadline's on the Tuesday, and then there's another game week the following weekend. And Guardiola's actually come out and stated that he will not be starting all 3 of those games, that Alvarez will get a start. So I would assume that he's going to start this weekend, but not play the next week. So I definitely think next week I'm going to be looking at potentially switching out Haaland to free up some funds elsewhere, or maybe switching him to the likes of Kane. Haven't quite decided on that yet, but yeah, he's certainly someone on my radar to potentially get rid. He's an amazing player, but he might start to become a rotation risk. And Jesus with 4 points. If you watch the Arsenal game, don't know how on earth Jesus got 4 points. He certainly could have had a ton more. Only the 1 assist and getting a yellow card, no bonus. Yeah, he could have done way more. Very unlucky to get only 4 points. Definitely someone to hold on to. It's not even a blank. But yeah, he can definitely still get those points in the future. And then on the bench, a lot of 1-pointers, which is nice to see with them being on my bench. But Andreas, someone who wasn't even in my line of thinking for playing, getting 8 points, getting just 1 assist and 3 bonus, which is quite insane, to be honest. That a player can only get 1 assist, but all 3 of the bonus points in that game. Yeah, annoyed that he was on my bench, but again, I was never considering playing him. Really well done if you did play him. And yeah, obviously the transfers I made didn't go too well. I mean, Darwin to Tony was especially a good move. That 0 points from Darwin as he's not going to play. For Tony's 8, that was a good improvement. But taking a hit to get Diaz over Harrison, who got 14 points, who I had in my wildcard team last week. Transferred him out because I had the extra funds from getting rid of Darwin. Still wanted the triple Liverpool. And yeah, that's massively backfired. Taking a -4 hit to essentially get 12 less points. Which is pretty devastating. I probably wouldn't have played Harrison anyway. So at least I haven't got the points staring me in the face on the bench. I probably would have played Nico Williams. Harrison was going to be first on my bench. And he wouldn't have come off. So yeah, that was painful, especially because everyone's going for Rodrigo and I went for Harrison and he didn't do too well in game week 2. Well, he did all right, but those Leeds midfielders look amazing. They look really good value. There is certainly a lot of wide variety for good differentials this year. I think any 3 of those Leeds midfielders, Rodrigo, Harrison and Aronson, they all provide different avenues for points. And I mean, we'll see that game against Chelsea, they all returned, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are weeks where one of them hauls and the other 2 blank. But Leeds are looking very, very strong right now. Really good fixtures, certainly eyeing up their players. And the likes of Perisic as well. for Spurs. I'm not too sure how much game time he's going to get, but when he plays those games, he's going to be on the same level of Cancelo, where he's going to be potentially getting an assist, a clean sheet, free bonus. There you go, 12 points, just like that. And for only 5.4 million, could be a good player just to have, even for that potential. It's high risk, high reward, but he's certainly looking like a player of a lot of potential. But yeah, overall an all right week given how chaotic this game week was. Even though it's my lowest score so far, slight decrease in the rank as well. Small red arrow down to 3.2 million now. That's probably due to the -4. If I hadn't taken the -4, I probably would have been a green arrow this week. But yeah, Tony was a good move to get in. I'm really happy with him. But yeah, the big at the back really going poorly for a lot of us. So yeah, let's have a look at how my team is looking for game week 4. So here is my current game week 4 team. I'm currently thinking about rolling a transfer. There's nothing that I desperately want to do this week. There are a lot of players who I really like the look of, the likes of Rodrigo and Perisic, and certainly a lot of these cheaper options. But there's no desperate measures for me to want to get them in. When making transfers, I often look at two things. How good is the player? How much do I want the player that I want to bring in? And how bad is the player that I'm going to sacrifice? And looking at the team right now, I don't think it needs a transfer at all. All home fixtures as well, all pretty good home fixtures. I'm a bit wary about the Man City double defence. I would like to have someone like Gundogan in the team, but that is going to require hits to do, or getting rid of Diaz, who I've only just got in. So I'm definitely not looking at doing that. I think there are some potential transfers that I've got in mind, but honestly, I'm liking the look of the team right now. The captaincy at the moment is still on Salah, 4th week in a row. He's done pretty well. This happened last year where he only blanked one time in the first, I think it was 16 game weeks or something like that. So, and Bournemouth at home is probably the best fixture on paper. So yeah, he's definitely going to be having my armband for this game. But I do like the looks of Jesus as well, potentially for the captaincy. Is anyone brave enough to go for Alexander-Arnold as captain? Potentially seeing that Liverpool clean sheet be kept? I don't think anyone's going to be brave enough to do that, especially those of you who go for who captain based on form. But yeah, certainly liking the way the team is looking. I think the bench as well is pretty easy for me this week. My bench options, I think, pretty much speak for themselves because I really like the whole starting lineup. But yeah, 100.9 million in squad value. At least the team is really gaining value quickly, over 1 million in the first 3 game weeks. Not looking at using my triple captain. I have probably a 5% chance that I'll use it, but definitely worth saving that triple captain for a double game week. But yeah, I'm liking the look of how the team is looking, but let's have a look at what potential transfers I'm considering. So here is my potential game week 4 team. It's very unlikely that I'll do this, but if I was going to make a transfer, it probably would be a hit this week. There's no easy swap that I'm looking at doing, and it would be getting rid of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I just think he's playing absolutely terribly right now. Maybe as an FPL asset, he's still all right because he's been very attacking, and I think the Liverpool defense will keep clean sheets at some point. It's just, when is that going to happen? I think Bournemouth at home statistically is the most likely time that's going to happen. But for 7.5 million, it's a lot of money kept in the back, so it would be making a switch to 3 at the back and having a 4th midfielder. That a 4th midfielder that isn't 4.5 million, sacrificing De Silva and Trent Alexander-Arnold for Patterson and Rodrigo. I've gone for Patterson. I could have afforded Perisic, but I don't know who I would have benched if I got Perisic in. Maybe I would have benched Walker if I'm not too happy with the double Man City clean sheet. But I think if I was to do this, I would just get in Patterson to completely free up funds and just ease off a little bit and see what else I could do in the future. It's very unlikely I'll do something like this. I'm very likely going to roll the transfer unless there are any injuries. But this is a potential team I'm looking at with a 3-4-3 formation. I have the exact money in the bank to do this. So I don't know if any of the players I've got here are expected to rise. I imagine Rodrigo is expected to rise, so I might be priced out of this anyway. But yeah, Perisic is certainly someone on my watch list. I think if I was to go for a Leeds midfielder, I would go for Rodrigo over Harrison now. I think the double up on them is actually a great idea. They could be a bit of a Son Kane this year, and they're so cheap as well that you can really just slap them in midfield and then spend big elsewhere. And I am also looking at only going for the one premium in Salah, freeing up funds of Haaland and then having 3 mid-priced forwards and then having one premium midfielder and then just having 3 mid-price midfielders. I wonder what you guys think about that as an option. But yeah, Rodrigo, as amazing as he's playing right now, that Brighton away fixture does look very tough. Brighton as well are looking like a very, very strong team. So I'm not too sure about getting him in this week. Then again, I thought that last week against Chelsea. I think we can pretty much throw fixtures out of the window now because of so many surprise results. With Leeds absolutely battering Brighton, with Man United beating Liverpool. There's all kinds of crazy fixtures going on. So honestly, do what you want because anything can happen now, given how crazy Game Week 3 has been. I wouldn't be surprised if Game Week 4 goes back to normality, that Liverpool absolutely smash Bournemouth, that Man City keep a clean sheet again, Arsenal probably continuing to perform well, and that maybe United go back to their old ways. But against Southampton, I do think they'll continue their hot streak. But yeah, really liking the way that this team, well, my current team looks. Probably won't make a transfer, but let's have a look at the top team from the mini league. So here is the top team from my mini league this week. Graham Buchanan, I think that's how you pronounce it, with the team name G-Dogs, a new face for Game Week 3. Only 68 points with a -8. That just kind of tells you how devastating this week was. A game week rank of about 400,000, and he only had 68 -8 points. 60 points in total. Even with the -8 hit, he was still the top team in the league. I think there was one team who got 61, but they'd also taken a hit as well. And even quite a few blanks for him as well. That big at the back not working out with Trent, James and Cancelo all not returning, but every single one of his attackers returning. And definitely the highlight there is having Rodrigo. He took the plunge for seeing his hot form, saw the fixture against Chelsea, thought, nah, he's going to get points anyway. And he certainly did with 13. So really well done to you for picking Rodrigo this week. Sanchez in goal as well, getting 8 points. Very solid return for him. I see a lot of people had Sanchez and Ward, and a lot of people went for Ward in goal. Leicester's defence looks horrendous. I do not know when they'll be keeping a clean sheet. I'd advise if you have Ward and Sanchez, I'd always be picking Sanchez right now. I would have picked him this week, and I would probably pick him for the foreseeable future as well. I just don't think that Leicester defence are going to keep many clean sheets at all, especially when they're leaking goals to the likes of Southampton. But yeah, the same front line as me with Tony, Haaland and Jesus all returning. Captain Salah as well, getting 16 points. Yeah, but Rodrigo certainly being the turning point in this team, getting a really good rank. I will go over his transfers though. He did take a -8. So he took out Neto for Højbjerg. Now, you might look at this team and go, hang on a minute, Højbjerg is not in the team. He then took out Højbjerg and got in Rodrigo. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. If it was a mistake with getting in the wrong player, they're both wearing white, so maybe that was the issue, or maybe you just suddenly thought, oh goodness me, I need to get in Rodrigo. Maybe it was I just need to get Neto out, and then actually I want to get in this player. But it goes to show, even with basically unintentionally taking a Nava -4, it still really worked out by getting Rodrigo in. Even if Rodrigo had 9 points rather than 13, it still was a very... you still got a lot more points by doing that. And his other transfer, he did do the same as me with Darwin to Tony to free up some funds. So I believe this team has quite a bit in the bank as well to improve. But I think it's looking very good for next week, and that differential of Rodrigo is very nice indeed. 191 points overall as well, doing very well at the moment. Certainly catching up on the leaders in my mini league. But yeah, very solid performance from you, Graham. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Certainly a very chaotic game week 3. Hopefully game week 4 will have a bit more normality. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Also join my mini league if you want to potentially be featured. I'll be featuring the highest scoring team of each game week in the video, looking at your team and what kind of transfers you've done and how you managed to outscore the rest of the people in the mini league. Just a nice little competition to get going each video. But yeah, hopefully game week 4 sees a bit more normality return for all of us. I wouldn't wildcard just yet, even though I've already used mine. I would go against it purely because the fixtures look very good next week, and I think this was quite an anomaly this week. Let's just see how things go next week, have a bit more data. But let me know who you guys are thinking of transferring in. Are you fed up with the likes of Trent and Cancelo? Maybe less Cancelo because he has actually returned points, but I could certainly see why people are fed up with Trent with all the promise he has and getting absolutely no points whatsoever this week. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Please like and subscribe for more weekly content, and I'll see you in the next FPL video.